Hey,
Welcome
Andrew,
to the
how
show,
you doing?
Andrew. What's up, brother?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
What's going on, guys?
Pretty good. How are you, Andrew? So viOLet finally picked up by a team. I think let's start off by talking about that. How I know that Empire was not the first team to approach him.
Yeah.
So how did that process kind of go for you guys?
Okay, so there's actually Jeff, or in the chat, his name is Kimji. He is a writer at Madrid, and he wrote a big article about it, and I recommend you guys read it.
Okay.
But essentially, back in the summer, we did a lot of traveling, going to all these events, and during that time, Rachel sent Rachel to Korea, and she went to all the team houses. And that's when she first met viOLet, when he was in MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And if you actually watch the MVP house video tour that we have on our YouTube, you will notice that they're sleeping like 10 players to a room.
Yep. The conditions in pro houses are not. They're really really tight on money, and so the Korean teams don't have a lot of money. So yeah, they have to do that.
I heard real estate's a premium out in that area.
Yeah.
So as you guys were talking about just a minute ago, he was So if you guys don't know about viOLet's past, you won't understand. But we also have a little promo video that we did for Empire that kind of shows that stuff. He was in Warcraft 3. He came into Warcraft 3 scene really late, and he got good really fast. He started taking games off of Grubby, Moon, and then he got onto SK Gaming, and then his house burnt down to the ground, completely to the ground. He lost everything. And so what did he have to do? He had to quit pro gaming and help his family pay for shit, basically. I mean, put yourself in his situation. What would you do, right? You got to give up what you want to do and go help the people that that you live with every day, right? The people you love. So he had to go do that. No big for him. Juani's a beast, right? So he went and did that, and then he got when the situation came around and the situation at home was a little bit better. He jumped into he got onto serious gaming at the very end of Warcraft 3. He went to WCG, and he did pretty well, but it was kind of like going into the scene kind of too late to really, you know what I'm saying? But for how long he had been playing, he could already compete with the best, right? But it was at the end of Warcraft 3's regime, you could say, right? So then he got into StarCraft. He qualified immediately for the GSL. Then he got into Codes the first season after he qualified. Was in Codes for 2 seasons, and then he got really sick at the MVP house. His health was really bad, and you can tell the living conditions there are horrible. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not saying MVP is not tidy or anything. Look at the Slayer's house. Look at any of those houses. It's just like they cram them in there, right? So he got really sick. He dropped out of Code. He dropped out of Code A. He actually lost to Hero.
Mm-hmm. And Hero's not a bad player to lose to.
Right, yeah. And this was kind of back when Hero was starting to get pretty popular, right? So then on his own, he negotiated a deal with, you guys probably have heard of AZK, the team that had that huge PPSL scandal or whatever. They had a partnership for one event. They flew him out to IPL 3, and this is actually where I noticed him, and a lot of people didn't notice him. If you go back and you look at the IPL 3 results, you'll notice that Stefano actually won it, right? But if you look at how well viOLet did, you know who the 2 people were that knocked him out of that tournament? It was FXO Lucky and Stefano. And who were those? How far did those guys go in that tournament?
Well, Stefano won.
And Lucky was in the final. So,
yep.
So he lost to the 2 guys that were in the final. And then I approached him. We kind of met, randomly there in the casino. It was like an after party or something. And started talking to him, and he was telling me kind of, I was really shocked, how not shy this guy was. If you guys know Koreans, they're really shy, right?
Usually, yeah. Usually pretty shy.
Kind of hide when the camera is put on them, kind of people. But viOLet's he doesn't faze him at all. And so he just approaches me, and we start talking. His English is pretty good. I mean, obviously I had a little help, forgot who was maybe there helping us. We may have some kind of translator or whatever, but So he added me on Skype or whatever after the event was over. We just started chatting, and I was like, fuck it, let's do this training camp. And to give him basically another chance after all that horrible stuff that happened to him, right? His house burned down, and then he got really sick. Like, he was in the hospital sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's kind of been a guy he's had really ups and downs in his career, you could say. And one thing about viOLet is he is not afraid to play anybody. You'll see a lot of these premier foreign players like Huck, Hydra. They don't want to. I'm not just picking on them. There's a bunch of them. If it's $100 tournament, don't waste my fucking time. And it's because they don't want the chance of losing to somebody that's not that big, right?
Mm-hmm.
viOLet's not scared of anybody. He'll play anybody, anytime, any day. And he's proven that.
That's apparent in his participation in the rundowns too. I mean,
well, I think
it just so happens to be on a CSN station. But,
yeah.
I mean, he's relentless. He's come here every time he was available to do so, and the only time he's missed was when he was playing in a different tournament.
Yeah. He it's the one tournament every week that viOLet says, when's the rundown? It's the one tournament name that he actually knows what he's playing in. Let me put it that way.
Nice. Shout outs to you, viOLet. I love you, bro. Thanks for playing.
He's not, and you really want to grow this sport. Like, these big name players have got to give other players an opportunity to get noticed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we can never beat, or if you can never even get in the same field of play with this player, like that guy that just came on was talking about, right? How do you, as a player, if you really are trying to get to that next level of, vision of the community on you, right? Like, you have to beat someone really big. Well, that's what viOLet had. That's what viOLet did at Home Story Cup. He beat two of the guys, Marine King, who knocked him out of MLG, and Hero, who knocked him out of GSL. He beat both of them there. So, and part of the deal with him coming over was I actually personally manage him. I take care of everything, his travel, everything, his tournaments. So if you guys want a little heads up on what's going on with him, he will be at IEM Sao Paulo, and he qualified for that, and that is February 6th through the 12th. So I highly recommend you guys check him out when he's playing. I think his chances are pretty good. I'm going to put a link in the chat to that event, actually. Brazil. And then he's got the MLG qualifiers
IPL.
coming up, IPL 4 qualifiers coming up, the NASL qualifiers coming up. He's got a lot of qualifiers coming up. So.
And I think the only tournament we've seen him lose recently was to Sleep in the NSM Open.
Yeah, I actually didn't catch those games, but
that was Monday. That was tough.
We had a huge storm. Like, he didn't sleep well early this week. He's just now getting he got like 3 hours of sleep a couple nights, and he said he wasn't. We're having computer issues, but sleep is really good. Don't get me wrong, sleep's good.
Yeah.
Sleep and him will take trade games all the time. That's also the nature of ZVZ, obviously. So
yeah, I think I saw a great picture actually recently with like pictures describing the mirror matchups, and they had PvP, which was basically rock paper scissors, and they had TVT, which was two guys playing a game of chess, and then they had ZVZ, which was two guys knife fighting, and I think that's strangely appropriate for ZVZ.
Yeah, no, I've become quite an expert on viOLet's games, and ZVZ is every time it's cross your fingers and hope the banelings hit. It's really hard to, and I don't know. You could get into a whole argument about that. And I don't want to start that stuff, but it's just, I don't know. ZVZ has issues.
Pretty tight. Yep. Okay, Andrew, we're going to move on in the show. Do you have any final shout-outs you want to give for your team or your player or anything?
Well, I want to thank you, lovely casters. I really appreciate you guys, what you do, and it's nice to see guys like the one that just called in talking about how you build up. And just want to do a little teaser for you guys. Check out, there is an event at the end of South by Southwest, not the IGN one, not the show matches. So South by Southwest goes on over 2 weekends, the 9th, 10th, and the 17th, and the 18th, which is a 1 week later, basically, right? And during that time, we were actually running a pro tournament with a local organization at the University of Texas. There's a big CSL event there the Collegiate Star League with all the college kids coming in from all of the, all the universities. And then alongside that, we're running a pro tournament.
Oh, really? I actually might be there casting that CSL event, so I might see you there.
Notice that White Raw just announced he will be going to that event. So Violet will be there, White Raw will be there, and then we're working on some more players. And we're looking at 16 pros, Korean and foreign.
Good stuff.
But we're
Very
going to be running
nice.
with CSL, and it's going to bring those two communities together. So I definitely, if you're in the area, you should come. It's going to be a blast.
Very cool. All right. Thank you, Andrew.